Welcome back to HQ Spotlight, continuing our season previews with Week 1 right around the corner. We're going to take you to the NFC East next as you look at the matchups. We had Damien pick out which teams in the AFC East when they would lose first. This is going to be kind of tricky, though, because as you can see, it is an all-divisional showdown when it comes to those Week 1 games. The Cowboys, Eagles opening the season September 4th, and the Giants and the Commanders will continue suit on September 7th. So we're going to tweak the rules a little bit with our Damien Harris, who's back to break down the NFC East as we look for each team's first or second loss. And we got to start with the Eagles, Damien, because all the teams, as I mentioned, will face off basically within the division in Week 1. It all starts with Eagles, Cowboys. Everyone's going to be watching that one here. Go ahead and just break it off easy for me. When is the Eagles' first loss, and why is it not Week 1?
Well, the Eagles' first loss isn't Week 1 because they play against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, they will go on, and when I look at the Eagles' schedule, it's not very tough. I mean, they play the Chiefs in Week 2. They have another matchup where I'm like, okay, they could win this game. They could lose because they're coming off the high of winning a Super Bowl. But if I know anything about Jalen Hurts, because I was his roommate in college, Haley, before he transferred to Oklahoma, I know that he is not focused on the success that he has already had, but onward and upward to the success that he is trying to face. He's still got All-Pro Saquon Barkley. He's still got All-Pro Lane Johnson. He's still got All-Pro everybody. So I think the Eagles make a really good run. They win a lot of games. They get tripped up in Week 11 against the Detroit Lions because they finally face a team that is as competent and as talented as they are. But make no mistake, Week 1 will not be going to your Dallas Cowboys, Haley. It will be the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay. I'm just letting you know that I'm keeping receipts.
Like, respectfully.
In the event that I need the receipts, I have them. Just know that. Okay, so if the Cowboys, they're not going to win that Week 1, that's okay. I'm on the fence about it as well, too. But give me the Cowboys season outlook then, because the first half of that schedule, Damien, when you look at it, it is very favorable. It's after the bye week, which I believe is Week 10, that things are going to go a little dicey here.
See, here's the good news for you, Haley. After the Week 1 loss, then I think they go on a nice little 6-game win streak, but then they get to the Broncos at Week 8. Now, this is a very talented team. They play well. They've got a good foundation under Sean Payton. Bo Nix looks to be the next up-and-coming prolific pocket passer. You've got Pat Surtain on the other side, Nick Bonito. Broncos team is going to be a team that I feel like defeats a lot of the higher tier teams in the league. Now, will they be contenders for a Super Bowl? I'm not sure they're ready to do that yet, but I do think that they'll be a team that can knock off the Cowboys, that could potentially knock off the Eagles, that could reset a Bills team if they had to face each other, just because, one, they have the talent, and two, they have the coaching infrastructure. And when you combine those two things, you're often able to beat teams that might be more talented than you, but don't show up to play as well as you on that given Sunday.
All right. Well, I'm going to stay optimistic for America's team and just hope for the best. This is our year because it's always our year.
A 6-game win streak don't sound good
in
the midst of everything?
Super Bowl, Damien. Have you been watching the Netflix documentary? Get us up to speed. Oh, man.
Beggars can't be choosers now.
You're right. I need to lower my expectations a little bit here. So let's talk about the Giants next, Damien. When it comes to the G-Men, obviously, I think the expectations are on the floor. But the surprise here in our pre-production meetings and getting ready for this segment, Damien, is that you actually don't have a Week 1 loss for the Giants here, even though they're playing the Commanders.
You know, I have a very, very interesting thought in my mind. Now, Jaden Daniels, we saw how electric he can be and how electric he plans to be in his preseason game against the Bengals. But I must mention, that was the second team Cincinnati defense. That wasn't Abdul Carter. That wasn't Brian Burns. That wasn't Kayvon Thibodeau. That wasn't Dexter Lawrence. That wasn't those guys. And what does Jaden Daniels do very, very well? And I make this point, especially considering the fact that there is no Scary Terry in the locker room right now. But what Jaden Daniels does very well, similar to Lamar Jackson, is his improv-ability, his ability to navigate the pocket, extend plays, and then find a guy like Deebo Samuels open down the field, right? But when you've got pass rushers who rush with integrity, who keep their lanes, listen, they can make up a lot of ground for this lackluster New York Giants secondary just because they get to the quarterback so fast, so well, and they don't give Jaden Daniels those lanes to escape and make those big plays down the field. So I like what I've seen from New York offensively. Russ has looked great. If it's Jackson Dart that has to step in there, he's looked great. They're getting really good production out of their receivers. Obviously, Malik Neighbors looks like one of the best receivers in all of the NFL. So surprisingly, I have the Giants knocking off the Commanders Week 1.
But then losing to the Cowboys in week 2. All right, let's go. Let's move on. Wrap this up with the Commanders.
I wanted you to say that, not me.
Let's wrap it up and talk about the Commanders, who apparently are going to lose in that week 1 game to the Giants. Damien, we know that the conversation surrounding the Commanders is, of course, the second-year curse of the quarterback here. So as we look at Jaden Daniels and that sophomore season, it all starts with the Giants before Thursday Night Football at the Packers and so on here. Where are you seeing the first L for Washington?
Well, when I look at the schedule, Haley, I look at week 5, and the Los Angeles Chargers are another team. And, I'm not just saying this because of the fact that both head coaches are brothers, but this is a team that reminds me of the Baltimore Ravens. They're very good in situational football. They've got a great quarterback behind the reins who knows how to operate and play at a very high level. They have a phenomenal running game. They just drafted Amarion Hampton. They're hoping to get Najee Harris back active and ready for week 1. It might be a couple weeks into the season, but this Chargers team, they did exactly what they needed to do. They added where they needed to. They went out and drafted Trey Harris, potentially to take over that wide receiver 1 spot from Quentin Johnson, who hasn't produced as much. They went and drafted Joe Alt. I will say the loss of Rashawn Slater may affect this team throughout the season, but I just think that this team, they're more experienced, they're a little bit more seasoned. And again, you worry about the sophomore slump from Jaden Daniels, not because he's not talented, not because he didn't put in the work in the offseason, but because now you've had an entire season and offseason for these teams, these great defensive minds in the defensive coordinator positions, these players to get ready for you and game plan for you. So I think the Chargers are going to be a team that knock off the Commanders early. I think it's going to be their second loss, but I'm not throwing in the towel on Jaden Daniels. I'm not throwing in the towel on the Commanders. I think they're going to have another successful season. I just think in the early parts, they might have to work out some of those kinks, and, Jaden might have to find a couple ways to not necessarily reinvent the wheel, but bring his game from another perspective or from another aspect and find a different way to affect teams.
Got to take that step forward to avoid the sophomore slump. Damien, always good to see you. I'll see you soon, my friend, right here in the studio.
Nice.
We will leave you with the NFC East odds to win the division. I will remind you that no team has repeated in this division since the Eagles did it back in 2004. That is the task they are trying to accomplish this season as they come in at minus 135 to win it. We will see who takes it week 1 in the NFL.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you.
Big news coming out of the NFL. A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
With highlights.
What a finish at the final round of play.
And in-depth analysis.
Can they three-peat? Tony Romo joins the conversation.
What can you say about this game?
When you need your sports in a snap,
we're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
Find it on CBS Sports HQ. Streaming free anywhere you are.